Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a quick look at a topic that has been very popular recently, and that's going to be the metaverse. If in the past month you feel like you've heard this word numerous times, you're right. If we take a look at quarter-over-quarter growth of the number of times during an earnings call the word metaverse was mentioned, quarter-over-quarter it grew over 400%, and that's that earnings are still not done yet, right? We still have a few companies going on, but this is a topic that's been very popular, and today I'm gonna explain one of my favorite methods to investing in the metaverse, and one of the easiest, I believe, and this is a method I have been doing for numerous months already, way before this whole trend kind of started. If this is your first time here, guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and check out the pinned comment where I have 10 free stock ideas for you. And I also have a free weekly newsletter where I share great presentation for free on all the stocks that I cover. So let's jump into it. For me, all the fluff, nothing. The best way and the easiest way, in my opinion, to invest in the metaverse is through this Meta ETF. And this is a round hill ball Metaverse ETF. It's traded under the New York Stock ARCA as ticker META, META. And this is one that recently got into inception. It started on launch on June 30th of 2021. My first purchase into this ETF was actually July 15th. So only I think 2 weeks after the ETF launched, I was already investing. And this is one that I kind of invest on almost on a weekly basis because I believe the overall market is super strong. But let's just jump into the overall presentation. First, the reason I believe the Metaverse ETF or this Meta ETF is important, or is probably one of the easiest ways and most efficient ways to invest, is the Metaverse is not going to be made by just one company, right? There's not one company that's gonna succeed through all this, and there's not one company that's gonna build it. There's gonna be numerous companies, numerous markets, and unless you want to kind of manage all those positions yourself or want to kind of learn about all those individual companies yourself, that might take time. So here we're going to take a look at Round Hill, which invests in numerous companies. Right now they have about 41 positions, and they kind of talk about the different markets affecting this industry and what are some of those positions within those markets. So the different markets affecting this industry are broken down as following. First is computing, and if you want to take a closer look, I definitely recommend checking out their website. They give a little bit more presentation if you're into it. Here I'm just going to do a quick 10-minute overview. Do you want 10 free stock picks right now? Well, if you do, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. Go to fool.com/Jose to get your free 10 stock picks now. So compute, this is the first market, and this is pretty much the ability, the hardware that's going to be able to kind of withstand all the computation needed behind the metaverse, right? This is going to need things like heavy graphics, computing power, accelerators and stuff like data centers, in other types of kind of hardware as well. And some of the big players here would be NVDA. NVIDIA is their number one position, and we're going to take a quick look at their 10 position sizings in a bit, their top 10 holdings. But computing, NVIDIA would be a big player there. Qualcomm is another one. This is their number 9th position. Then they talk a little bit about networking, right? The ability, metaverse would be something in the digital ecosystem. Something like this, you need to have very low latency. You need to be able to communicate this kind of bandwidth in a very fast pace. Some of the big players here would probably be like Amazon, their number 7 position. This would be one like in the cloud server platform, providing kind of the infrastructure for this networking. Another one would be FSLY. This is their number 17 position. Next, they take a closer look at virtual platforms, and virtual platforms I think is probably one of my favorites. And this is an actual company that's focusing on creating this virtual world. A perfect example would be Roblox. Roblox I think is the leader in this market right now, and it is also their number 2 position in their ETF at the moment. Another one would be Facebook. Facebook is kind of creating that, I forget what Facebook what is their platform called? Facebook is creating also some form of virtual world at the moment. So those would be some of the big players there. Next, you have interchange standards, and these are the tools being used to create either the virtual worlds or kind of assets within them. The two main players here would be Unity. This is their number 4 position, and Unity is a game engine that helps kind of create with animation, with 3D modeling, with physics, and other types of rendering. Then you have Autodesk. This is their number 6 position. These two really excite me. I really do enjoy both these companies. But these, again, are the tools that are needed to create this metaverse. Then within this metaverse, there's going to need some form of payment system. Some of these big players that I mentioned already can affect or can be a form of payment system for the metaverse. I want to say one of the true players right now in their ETF would be Coin. And this is their number 21 position size. Then they have content, asset, and identity services. What are going to be some of the players, some of the assets within this metaverse? And I want to say one of the big players there will probably be like number 9, Tencent. Tencent owns numerous gaming companies, and these gaming companies have numerous assets that we can see in the metaverse. Finally, the last market they really talk about is the hardware market. And these, Microsoft, which is their number 3 position, and Facebook, these two are very important players here. Microsoft constantly with game consoles, also kind of having their HoloLens. Facebook, obviously, with the Oculus platform. So here, these are the main markets this ETF is kind of affecting. Now, if we take a quick look at the stock price, Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF is right now sitting at about $16.90. It's up about 10% in the past 10 months and about 11.7% since inception or so. In early October, right before, I believe that's right before Meta Platforms or Facebook announced their change, that's when it hit almost an all-time low. And look how crazy, 20.30% returns in the past a month and a half. So what else do we have in this presentation? So first, their top 10 holdings. Their top 10 holdings represent about 59% of the total portfolio. And we can see the top 3 are NVDA, very big player there, Roblox, Microsoft, Unity, Facebook, Autodesk, Amazon, Tencent, Qualcomm, and TSM. You can see definitely a huge variety of markets there. But very exciting. Like I said, this is an ETF, about 41 positions. They have about a 7.75 expense ratio, and that's the normal price for an actively managed ETF, which they say they are. So I think most of ARK's investments are around that similar level of 0.75%. So not too crazy in my opinion price, especially if you don't want to manage all these positions on by your own. This ETF also includes a lot of growth stock potential. Some two that really grabbed my attention were one, Snapchat with their augmented reality technology, and second, Matterport with that kind of 3D modeling, of kind of 3D modeling of real life places, which again will be used in things like the metaverse. What else do we have? Numerous investments, and this is why I'm excited about the metaverse. Numerous investment firms see huge growth in the meta market within the next 5 years, and not just numerous investment firms. I just took a listen into NVIDIA's earnings call, and Jensen is very bullish in the metaverse within the next 5 years. I definitely recommend checking out my previous video. But we can see Meta shares a lot of information. For example, ARK research for their big ideas of 2021. I did plenty of videos on them in 2021 at the beginning of the year where I mentioned the virtual worlds, and they believe that over $400 billion of revenue will be estimated by 2025. Huge growth. Bloomberg Intelligence also believes that market opportunity for the metaverse can reach over $800 billion by 2024. And let me just say, right, the metaverse, it might seem something super futuristic, maybe the type of metaverse that you are imagining it's one that we won't have for some time, but the process and the steps that we're getting there are already working. I mean, you can see numerous companies are already advertising within Roblox, and we're going to start continue to see stuff like that and continue to drive revenue and users to companies like Roblox. You're going to see the advertisement game continue to change. And these kind of virtual assets are going to become more popular, in my opinion, in the real world. We're seeing things like NFTs, right? Digital collectibles are really kind of affecting and moving on this year. Obviously, not every NFT, probably a majority of NFTs are going to fail, but we are seeing some strong demand by some of the big players there. What else do I have here? Finally, this is a company or ETF that has seen a lot of excitement in the past few months. Here we can take actually a quick look at one of the person who's running this ETF, Matthew Ball. And on week six of inception, this ETF only had about $50 million of assets under management. And this is usually how many people are kind of invested in the ETF and kind of how much money is in there. We can see it grew by a bit. About week 18, it had about 250 million. By week 20, it had about 500 million. And by week 20, within the same part of week 20, a few days later, it had over 600 million. And now at the end of this Friday, they reported that they have over $700 million in assets under management. So you can see a huge influx of people moving into this platform. Again, the ETFs, the companies that they follow, I really enjoy, and I do believe this is probably the easiest and most efficient way to invest in the metaverse without really worrying about individual companies. So take care, guys. Have a good night and see you next time.